All right, so today the title for this session is Your Quest for Power is a Problem. And then I'm going to add in parentheses, not really. You know, everywhere you turn, there's something telling you that there's something wrong with your desire for power, right? But somewhere in the core of your being, you have a desire for more of it. You have a desire for more personal power. You have a desire for more professional power. Now, let me tell you something. The problem is not your desire for the power. The problem is that most men, when they have it, they misuse it. And when they don't have it, the actions that they take because they don't have it or they are denying it. Hello, my name is Mark Mascola. I want to welcome you to Masculine to the Core and the Man in the Arena podcast. In this session, I'm going to discuss several ideas that will help you understand that your desire for power is a good thing. It's not, don't listen to mainstream and what's going on. What we're going to talk about today is that your desire for power is the exact opposite of what the mainstream morons want you to believe. Now, before we get started, I want to ask you a quick question. On a scale between 1 and 10, how fulfilling is your life? Now, let me throw in something for you to think about before you answer that. Fulfillment has 3 parts. There's personal fulfillment, professional fulfillment, and spiritual fulfillment. Personal fulfillment in your relationships, right? Your marriage, your parenting, your close friends, your intimate friends. Also in your personal fulfillment, your physical and mental health, your recreation. How much time do you spend doing things in life that make it fun? Your professional fulfillment, the amount of time that you give up for the money that you make, the time away from your family. Is your career fulfilling, or is it just a job that you struggle with and wonder why you get up every day and don't go find something else to do? And then spiritually, are you fulfilled spiritually? Do you have a relationship with God that is beyond your church attendance and the occasional foxhole prayers that we always say when we find our ass in the mine, right? I say them, I know you do as well. If your answer, when you rate yourself on a scale between 1 to 10 and how fulfilling your life is, if your answer is a 6 or below, I have a free resource and I want to send you to help you discover how to become more fulfillment driven. Truth is, fulfillment driven men operate on a different level. Now, I discovered this a couple of decades ago, and I've been teaching men the thing that I discovered about living fulfillment driven, and we're going to talk about that today. I discovered it, like I said, a couple of decades ago, and my life has never been the same. If you're watching this in a video format, just comment power in the comment section, and we'll send you a link. If you're only listening to the audio version of a podcast, I'll put the link in the description. So when we talk about our quest for power, right? Let me tell you a little story. Back in 2001, somebody handed me a book, and right inside the book, right inside the cover, was the Teddy Roosevelt quote called "The Man in the Arena." And I read that quote, and I thought, hell yes, that's me. I really wanted it to be me, but at the time, you know, in 1999, I had just gotten out of treatment for a drug and alcohol addiction. And in 2001, man, my life was a mess. I was right in the middle of a bankruptcy and divorce, and it just seemed like everything was coming apart at the seams. But I realized at that time, after reading that quote, what a battle life really is, right? I mean, think about it. Think about all of the things that we have to do as men. Being a man who is committed to his family and committed to his career and committed to his physical and mental health. Oh, and how much time are you committing to your spiritual relationships, right? So the one big thing I want you to take away from this when we're talking about power is understand that your higher power, my higher power, created you in the image and the likeness of itself. Think about that. Your higher power created you in the image and the likeness of itself. And just like the story of David and Goliath in the Bible, right? There is an enemy that wants you to quit before you discover how powerful God created you to be and to become. See, the problem is that men only focus on being or wanting to be powerful in their businesses. powerful in their businesses, powerful in their careers. You know, if we see this thing that if we are powerful financially, then we can be powerful everywhere else. You know, if I make enough money, then I'll take the time to go spend with my wife and my kids. I'll do the things in life that make it fun. But we can't miss the origin of the power, right? The origin of the power. Again, there is a higher power that created us in the image and the likeness of itself. And the problem is, if you're only seeking financial power, then you miss the rest of the things that you're being called to be powerful in, as a husband, as a father, as an impactful leader in your home and in your community. When we talk about the Creator creating us in the power, in the image and the likeness of itself, what's the likeness? The likeness is powerful, right? If you're created in the image of the powerful Creator, that makes you powerful as well. That's something that we have to accept into our lives. No matter how difficult things are, we were still created in the image of the powerful Creator. What's the other word in that? Creator. You were created to partner with God and create the life that you were meant to live. Not the one that you live by default, right? Not the one that you get up and just go through the motions every single day. You were meant to be a powerful creator, and God made you that way. When in the Bible, it talks all the time about the word dominion, right? The word dominion means given the authority over. Authority means power. So, have you ever considered the fact, think about this. We have an internal belief system that if we don't accept the fact that we were created in the image and the likeness of the power, we give the power away, right? Have you ever considered there's a higher power that created you with and for a higher purpose as well? If you understand those two things, the higher power created you in the image and the likeness of itself, and it created you with and for a purpose, those two things alone, your life will never be the same. But you don't have to just understand those things. You have to believe those things in your heart of hearts. So, why is life so hard? Why has God created this thing where it's a challenge? You know, I talk all the time about men who are willing to do what most men won't, to have what most men don't, personally, professionally, and spiritually. That's where our power comes from. Those who understand the game are a lot more likely to win it. Adversity is, you're not going to live a life void of adversity. The whole game is about adversity. I talk about, adversity is a price paid for believing. So there are 5 pillars that every man must live his life by. Pillar number 1 is the vision pillar. We have to have a vision of what we want our life to be. Now listen, in the Bible it talks about where there is no vision, men will perish. That has nothing to do with eyesight and death. It has everything to do with living a heartless, passionless life because you have no vision to create the life God put you on this earth to live. You know, we play a game of opposites. Sometimes to have a vision for the life that you want, you have to understand and take an assessment of the things that you're settling for personally, professionally, and spiritually. And if you play this game of opposites, write down the things take out a piece of paper and write down the things in your life that you're no longer willing to settle for. And then on the opposite side of the piece of paper, write down their exact opposite. Whether that means your health, whether that means your relationships, whether that means your finances. And then after you have a vision of what that is, you create an action plan, right? You can't sit around and complain about results you're not getting for actions you're not taking. Pillar number 2 is to create an action plan and get moving. Pillar number 3 is to understand that success is never a straight line from here to there. You have to pivot and make course adjustments along the way. That's what being courageous and overcoming adversity is all about. You have to persist without exception. Any vision that you have for the life that you want to live with and for your family, and being a man who lives with purpose and passion and lives a life that honors God, you will have to persist without exception. And then the fifth pillar is to pray about all of it. You know, I learned years ago, you know, when I was going through my addiction recovery stuff, and I put God at the center of what was a life and death scenario for me, and I beat addiction. Why would I not put God at the center of my marriage and my parenting and my physical and mental health? Why would I not become God-centered in every area of my life? Again, God-centered and fulfillment-driven men operate differently. That's what masculine to the core. And back to, you know, the original story that I told you, when I read that quote about the man in the arena. That's why we call this podcast the Man in the Arena podcast. It's not about us living a adverse free life. It's about us standing toe to toe with a Goliath that wants us to quit before we discover how powerful God created us to be and to become. So how would you like to begin purposefully living a fulfillment-driven life? I mean, what does that look like for you? Take a second and think about it. What does personal fulfillment look like to you? What does professional fulfillment look like to you? And more importantly, what does it feel like? And then spiritual fulfillment. What does that look like? And most importantly, what does that feel like? Because the goal with living a purpose-driven, a fulfillment-driven life is to understand that the game is about having those three areas work interdependently together, personally, professionally, and spiritually. So the first step in creating a fulfillment-driven life is to have a vision for the life that's right on the other side of what you're settling for. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I created a free resource my team will send you when you reply with the word power in the comments, or if you're listening to this in the audio form, just look for the link in the description. Are you ready to become more God-centered and fulfillment-driven? The first step is for you. Just respond with the word power. Team will send you over the free resource. It will help you take a snapshot of where you are, but more importantly, create a vision for the life you know you were meant to live. So that's it for this session of the Man in the Arena podcast. Be sure to check out the next video that's right here on this screen. And till next time, be the best and most powerful version of you in every area of your personal, professional, and most importantly, your spiritual life. This is Mark signing off, 7. Have a great day wherever you are. You absolutely deserve it. Bye for now.